drum, hit your whole body go crack. Let the baseline move, take it off of the mat. We rock crowds every time we fight. Boom, boom, bap, yeah, we got it like that. Kick drum, hit your whole body go crack. Let the baseline move, take it off of the mat.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Sky Sports Heat Check, the show where we discuss everything that goes on and off the court from the world of the NBA. I'm your host, Mooncey, and joining me today on my left, we have Toronto native and BBL legend, Mr. Mike Tuck. And on my right, a man who's played basketball all over the globe, from the USA to Spain to now right here in London, Mr. Ovie Soko. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Good to see you.
We also want to give a special shout out to all the fans at home who are tuned in through Twitch, as the Heat Check show is going live on Twitch for the first time ever today. Now, unfortunately, JD isn't with us today. He is on load management enjoying the hot weather of the United States. We're stuck in the cold of London, so we're going to get straight into our first segment, Hot or Not. All right, you guys know how this works. Ovie, this is your favourite. I can see how excited you are already. Hot or not? Quite simple. If it's your first time watching, I give the fellas a statement and they tell me whether it's a hot take and they agree, or whether it's ice cold and they think it's completely wrong. So, you know, we've seen the Lakers go on a really hot streak so far this season. They've been getting a lot of love from the media. They won 10 games in a row. It came to an end last night on the Sky Sports primetime fixture of NBA Sundays. But another team that's been playing well and flying high is the Milwaukee Bucks. So the statement I'll bring to you guys today is that the Milwaukee Bucks are going under the radar. Do you agree, disagree? Is it a hot take, cold take? Mike, what do you think?
Ooh, just got cold in here, man. I think that's icy. I don't think that's a hot take. You know, you're looking at a team that last year got 60 wins. They had the MVP in Giannis, Coach of the Year. Even their GM got the Executive of the Year. So this is an award-winning team that's just doing what they're supposed to do. This is expected of them. And, you know, the only reason it's under the radar is because people aren't really talking about them. Ovie,
what are your thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks so far?
This one's chilly, Billy. No. Basically, yeah, I agree with that. This is a cold statement, icy. Milwaukee Bucks are just taking care of business. They're doing what they're supposed to do. In the East, which is, you know, I wouldn't say is particularly, it's not the West. It's not the same sort of war zone that the West is. It's a lot easier, and they're really just taking care of business. Everyone's waiting for playoff time. That's where they sort of fell apart a little bit last year. So we're all just hoping that we can see the same level of play in the playoffs.
So do you think that the Milwaukee Bucks' success in the regular season, we've just gotten so used to it that it's become normal? I know Giannis, through his first 20 games of the year, has put up numbers that we've never seen before. I think it's something like 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. No player's ever averaged that through his first 20 games to open the season. Do you think that he's not getting as much attention compared to when other players put up big numbers because we're so used to seeing him do it on a nightly basis?
I think once you start treading in that area of greatness, it's no longer about sort of the day-to-day and game-to-game stats. Do you know what I mean? Like now, these days, I don't think everyone raves about a triple-double when LeBron gets one because we're used to it. Now we want to see those big games in the playoffs. We want to see those big games lead to championships. Do you know what I mean? We're all used to Giannis being an absolute beast, but we want to see him beast his way all the way to a chip. So until he does that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think year on year we've seen Giannis take levels and step up, getting better and better, especially numbers-wise. But now we need to see him do it in the playoffs. You know, he can get that best record in the East, but can he take that to the playoffs? Can he get to a conference finals and get all the way through? And until he does that, you know, it's going to be a cold topic.
Well, we're gonna have to wait to see what the Bucks can do in the playoffs. But another team that's gone off to a hot start in the Eastern Conference has come as a surprise to a lot of people.
Not to me.
Not to Mike, Toronto's very own. But the Toronto Raptors have gotten off to a 15-4 start. You know, this is the same start that they got off to last year when they had Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard on their roster. They've also been without Serge Ibaka for many games and All-Star point guard Kyle Lowry. Mike, I'm going to have to come to you first. I'm going to give you the statement. It's a very simple one. I know Siakam has been leading this team, getting a lot of shouts for most improved player. But I want to know, hot or not, MV Spicy P.
Let's get spicy, baby.
Oh, okay.
I think Siakam's the man in Toronto right now. He's really stepped it up. He's definitely an all-star this year. He could be a candidate for most improved player again. I mean, when you compare his stats last year to this year, he's averaging over 10 more points a game. His rebounds are up. I think pretty much every category is up. When you look at it 2 seasons ago, he was on the bench averaging 7 points a game, and now he's, well over 25 points a game, and leading this Raptors team. Spicy P is the man in Toronto right now.
Ovie, you got a lot of love for Pascal Siakam. Is this the hot or not? You got to tell me. MV Spicy P, what's your take?
I got love for him. I ain't got that much love for him, though. I ain't got that much love for him. And I say that just because I think improvement doesn't necessarily mean you're an MVP. We see players take jumps every year, and he's surprised me, because I do know that it's very different sort of playing a supporting role and then to be the main guy. When you now become the main guy, defenses are locked in on you. Guys are, teams are scouting just a little bit heavier for you. You're the first focus of the defense. So, when you're able to put up numbers and continue to improve, I do think that's impressive. But do I think that's enough to say he's in a, MVP sort of conversation? I think he's earned the right to say that he will be in that conversation at some point if he keeps on making these steps. But I just wouldn't put him there, not quite yet. Because I feel like to be an MVP, especially coming out of the East, you can't put up really good numbers. You have to put up unbelievable, unreal numbers. That's just what it is.
I do hear you. He has led the Raptors to second place in the East. For me personally, he hasn't missed any games with low management, so that is a bit impressive from Spice people. What do you think overall about the Raptors? How far do you think that they can go this season, Mike? I know you got a little bit of a biased opinion, but
of course,
we'll head into you first.
Of course. Well, I think the sky's the limit for them. They're the reigning champs. Kawhi went there last year and kind of showed them the blueprint of how to get there. And then you guys got guys like Siakam, who's kind of filling in that void that they've left. And they're winning games without Lowry, without Serge Ibaka, and through long periods. So role players are stepping up, and they're just finding different ways to win. So they're a really exciting and dangerous team in the East right now.
How much of this success, Ovie, comes down to Nick Nurse and what he's managed to do since he took over in Toronto, coaching that team?
It's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. I'm always big on building culture because I think to win one-off in any area, any field, any sport, it's possible. But now to have consistency and to build, to make winning a habit, he's clearly doing something right. To be doing well without, some of your premier, your key guys. That means that speaks to the organisation and how they're just running that ship over there.
Speaking of making winning a habit, one team that throughout my entire life, as long as I can remember, has been on the winning side of things.
Don't say
has
Boston.
Been, obviously it's in Boston, but that's not what we're talking about. No, we went through some tough times in the early 2000s. Don't worry about that. But I'm talking about the San Antonio Spurs right now. They've lost 11 of their last 13. Last night they took a major L to the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons bench dropped 75 points on them. So, I want to hear, hot or not from you guys, is it time for the Spurs? I never thought I'd be saying this. Is it time for the Spurs to tank? Oh, we got the flames going off in here right now.
It's hot in here.
Talk to me. Talk to me. What do you think it's time for Greg Popovich to wheel up the tank?
I don't know if Popovich knows what tanking means. It's not in his DNA. But when your guys put out a performance like they did, last time out, that's just showing no fight, and that ultimately I feel like means that maybe the players is giving up on the coach, giving up on the system, or they've just given up, period. And when you start seeing that, especially at the pro level, it's really difficult to really motivate guys at that level. You're getting paid quite a big check, so what else do you do? If those guys just aren't willing to come out there and fight, then maybe it's time to sort of just plan for the future.
Mike, I think your boys in Toronto are somewhat to blame for this. They finessed the speed. You don't often
Where we
see
unload somebody
RC
down
Buford
there.
and Greg Popovich
they
getting finessed.
broke him. They
Took Kawhi. They didn't even give back OG or Siakam in return. They gave Jakob Poeltl. So, I can see it's tough times in San Antonio. You said the flame emoji. You think it's time to tank. Tell me why.
I just don't think they have the personnel there. And like Ovie said, I don't know if Popovich would be able to tank, but I think that they have some pieces that they need to disassemble and they need to rethink everything. Obviously DeRozan, Aldridge, Rudy Gay, those are all three pieces that could get moved around, and they're kind of aging superstars. I do like some of the young pieces they have with, Derek White and Murray. But it's time to rewind it back to 96, 97 and try and get your Tim Duncan 2.0. They need to either make some big trades, get some big movement going within the team, or they need to tank and get a good draft pick in next year's draft that's looking, pretty good.
Yeah, you mentioned the 96-97 draft with Tim Duncan. For you guys at home who don't know, that was the season where the San Antonio Spurs set out David Robinson for most of that season so that they could get a top pick. They collected Tim Duncan, put him into that lineup, and they went on to great success. As you know about this year, I don't think adding a top draft pick to DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge would kind of have that same effect. If, there's been a lot of rumours about DeMar DeRozan this week. If you were to trade DeMar DeRozan, do you see him going anywhere in particular to any teams?
I think there's been some rumors about the Magic and also Portland. It's a tough one. I like DeMar DeRozan. He was a loyal Raptor and a great player for us. But I think his game in today's NBA, it's hard to translate over because he's such a mid-range player. His three-point shot isn't really there. And he hasn't been playing the best since he's left the Raptors. So it's tough. I don't know the answer for where he's got to go, but I definitely see him or Aldridge on the chopping block.
Ovie, just quickly before we get to the next bit, do you think DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, they're both big on the mid-range? Do you think that is the reason for San Antonio's struggles? Because we're seeing a very three-point dominated league right now.
I personally, I think you can live with it from Aldridge, but from DeMar DeRozan being sort of the main perimeter player on your team, you do have to bring an outside threat in today's NBA. It's just the way the league's gone. But I do honestly think, the success that Toronto just had in the last season, I don't know where he is at mentally. I think that really sort of hurt him quite a bit to see, those guys they took no time in getting it done after he sort of left with pretty much the same pieces that he had around him. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, luckily there weren't too many mid-range jumpers on display when I caught up with Football Daily's very own Sam Obaseki for this week's episode of Who's Got Game. Before I get guests on the show, I often say to them, how do you want me to introduce you? And today's guest has asked me to introduce him as the waviest guy in South East London. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Obaseki of Football Daily. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man.
Thanks for coming through.
Thanks, man.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. We're going to get into some NBA 2K action today. Are you a fan of the NBA?
Yeah, man. It's sick.
Who's your team? We're going to start with picking some teams. So do you have a team that you support, or do you have a team that you've seen or have some sort of affiliation with?
I'm supporting the Lakers this season, mainly because of LeBron. LeBron's just my guy. I love LeBron. And obviously AD joined him, so it's just a force to be reckoned with.
Slide across to them. All right, you're going to go as the Lakers. I'm going to go as producers. Any suggestions?
Nah, you might as well go as the Clippers, man.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do the.
I didn't want to
derby.
suggest it, yeah?
Don't do a madness, though. I'm telling you that now. I've let you be the Clippers. Don't do a madness, because I haven't played on PS4. I'm an Xbox guy, so,
Excuses are out of the bag. So tell us a little bit about what you do. Obviously, you're involved with Football Daily, Squad Goals as well. What else do you do? What else do you get up to?
Well, I also host some events. I'm one of the men on 56 Black campaign. That's gone not global. I wouldn't say global, but it's been all over the UK. But yeah, mainly present on Football Daily and Squad Goals.
So when did you start becoming a LeBron fan then?
He I think the year that he won it with the Cavs, is the year that I fully started watching basketball.
When he came back from the 3-1.
Yeah, like, and that as a storyline, I love underdog storylines anyway.
Yeah.
And for him to do that,
That's why you're a Chelsea fan.
chill, we're not underdogs.
I'm
bro.
a Chelsea fan as well, man. I'm just trolling you.
Yeah, don't come like that. We're not underdogs. We're the greatest team in London. We're just having a off-season.
Exactly, but yeah.
Oh, my
Okay,
days! Green, let's go, champ.
Okay. That's how you want to move, bruv. You can turn it up a level if you'd like.
Hey, relax. Oh, he's done it. AD! That's what we
AD's
call
a
defense.
monster, bruv.
That's what we call defense. Oh, my days. You might as well go for it, dog. Yeah, let's go.
Sam's
Let's
got the
go.
momentum
See,
with him.
you can't even talk and play at the same how TV. You're being a bit quiet
Don't
now.
worry, bro. I'm just letting you settle in, get your confidence up.
All right,
It's not a thing for me. Look, you see that? He turned around before the ball even went in. He was looking at the fans.
Okay, fair enough.
You get me?
What were we saying, though?
So we were saying when you became a LeBron fan, the Cleveland 3-1.
I think, yeah, after that, like, and the tears after he won it as well, I was just like, nah, like, this guy's a legend. And then I watch, like, out of all the players, I've watched highlights of LeBron, Curry, like, Kawhi, and a few others, and LeBron is just, he's just different levels, man. Like, both sides of the court, like, he's just amazing, man.
And he's been consistently great for so
like
long now.
16 years, bro, that's nuts, man.
But my question to you is now, like, when LeBron retires, if he ever does retire, because he doesn't seem to me like he's a real human being. Like, he seems like he'll just play forever as he blocks my shot. Anthony Davis on fire as well, bro.
Yeah.
When he retires, who's going to be your guy?
The thing is, I really like Kawhi Leonard, innit?
Yeah.
However, I like NBA stars that are just a bit like, you know, a bit
Fun.
funky and fun.
Yeah.
Like, he's a bit, like, just gonna come on the pitch, come on the court, get the job done.
He's
like he doesn't talk.
Have you seen the advert of him and Arnold Schwarzenegger together for the Terminator?
Nah.
So it's quite a funny advert because, like, they're basically saying Kawhi's a Terminator. Because he literally is. He just turns up, does this thing, goes home. So if not Kawhi, then who's going to be your kind of the one that you follow?
Giannis, man.
Yeah, the Greek freak.
I feel him. And if he's game from range improves, he will be the ultimate.
Yeah, he's
guy.
picks up. Like, I watched his first game of the season. He scored 2-3 pointers in the first game. I'm thinking by the time we get to playoffs and next year, he's going to be a different monster.
He's going to be levels.
But it's going to be interesting to see this season how LeBron does and
man, come on,
how Lakers get on. But for the fans at home, where can they check out your stuff? Where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Insta and Twitter _Sam Obaseki, and on YouTube Squad Goals. Go and check out our latest video. We played FIFA blindfolded, and it was very funny.
That sounds dope. Maybe we'll have to have a couple games of 2K blindfolded and see what happens.
Not yet.
Anyway, back to you guys in the studio. I said back to you guys in the studio. I guess it's back to me in the studio. But if you guys want to watch the full episode, head over to the Sky Sports YouTube channel where you can check that out. A big thank you to Sam for joining us, and also any other influencers out there. If you think that you've got game and you want to get involved, let us know. Tweet us with the hashtag Sky Sports HeatCheck, and we'll see if you have game. But we're going to get into the next section, one of my favourite sections of the show. It's Top 5. So we're talking about top 5. You know, earlier in the season, we spoke about the top 5 rookies coming in. Obviously, I know you're big on your guy, Ja Morant.
Ja, baby.
But which other rookies are you looking at right now? Which other rookies have caught your eye and impressed you on the court?
Hero and Nunn. I think those two guys, I'm big on winning. You know, I'm big on, you producing on a winning team. Like, I know, obviously, Ja wasn't in a winning sort of situation. But I feel like he was special. Seen something different in Ja. Hero and Nunn, those guys, I feel like they've sort of come out of nowhere. And I just got a lot of love for that, because I know in the NBA when you come in with a whole bunch of clout, you get to make mistakes. You have that they give you that freedom. But when you don't come in with a huge name, really speaking on Nunn, he came from a smaller school. He's made a heck of a splash, and the team's doing great. So those guys have, definitely caught my eye.
Tyler Hero definitely plays with a lot of sauce. The moves that he's got in his bag, always exciting to watch. Mike, which rookies have caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, Ja Morant has to be in the conversation. I think he's had the most impact coming on a team as a rookie. Obviously, he's not in the best situation, but when you see him play, and I think he plays a lot older and a lot more mature than he is, and just he's got the whole package. He's a playmaker. He's finishing. He can shoot. He can finish at the rim. But yeah, Tyler Hero is another guy, which I just love his energy. He just came into the preseason and into the beginning of the season just fearless, and like you wouldn't even be able to tell he's a rookie, just the way he holds himself on the court. Nunn has had another big impact, just putting up huge numbers for a rookie and his journey to the NBA. And then got to give an honorable mention to a fellow Canadian, RJ Barrett. Obviously, he's on the lowly Knicks, but I think he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. I think he's, for a 19-year-old kid, he's emerging as a leader on that team, and I think, we're starting to see the beginnings of something that could be really great with him.
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of RJ?
I'm not a fan.
What? Well,
people might, hey, they won't like. I'm not a fan.
Okay. Well, we gave the fans at home their chance to say which rookies have been impressing them. The voting is still open on the Sky Sports website if you want to get involved. The 4 players that we mentioned here, Hero, Morant, Nunn, and Barrett have been getting a lot of love. Eric Pascal has also been receiving some votes. Golden State, he's kind of holding down that team as best as he can, despite their struggles. But if you want to have your say and get involved in the voting, head over to the Sky Sports website and let us know your top 5 rookies. But we're going to move on to our next section, Post It Up. Now, we were just talking about the rookies and the great action that we've seen on the court so far this season, but there have been some notable players that we haven't managed to see yet this year. There have been a few players that have been out with injuries and various struggles. I want to know from you guys, we've got some names coming up on the screen right now. I want to know from you guys, which players are you most excited to see back on the court, Mike?
Well, there's 2 names on the list that stand out to me right away. The first is Kevin Durant. Obviously, ruptured Achilles is probably one of the worst injuries you could get in basketball. We've seen, guys like Kobe Bryant get that, and they come back, but, you're never really the same player. So I'm excited to see him come back, but obviously that's not till next season. So the name that I'm really looking at is Zion Williamson, probably the guy who came into the league with the most hype this season. Tore his meniscus, and he's looking for a return, mid-December, hopefully for that Christmas game. But the hype and everything behind him coming into the season, I'm really excited to see how he's gonna perform.
Ovie, which of the players posted up on the sidelines right now are you dying to see back on the court and in the action?
Yeah, I gotta go with Zion. He's coming in summer league, and I'm sure that game must have been. His games must have been super packed. Like, the buzz around him's just been unreal. I forgot what the tickets were selling like for the Duke and North Carolina game. It was something crazy. But yeah, just the buzz around him. I just want to see if the hype's real, if he's able to live up to it.
Well, he was dominating in the summer league. How much do you guys think he would help this New Orleans squad when he comes back to the court? I'm hoping that we can see him in action on Christmas Day against the Nuggets that you guys can watch live on Sky Sports. But how much will he help the New Orleans Pelicans when he gets back in shape and on the court?
I think he's going to help tremendously. One of the things I do love about him is he seems like a pretty unselfish player, and he makes plays for the team. He's not sort of, a new generation superstar in that he necessarily needs to just have the ball to make plays or to affect the game. He makes insane defensive plays, runs the passing lanes. He does a lot of things all over the floor. Like, he's just a piece that any team would love to have.
Mike, you spoke about Kevin Durant and his Achilles injury. I want to know, obviously, we're seeing Brooklyn right now. Kyrie is also injured. They've been having a lot of success while Kyrie's out, with Spencer Dinwiddie really stepping up. But how much will KD help the Nets when he's back, especially that chemistry with his best friend Kyrie in there as well? Yeah,
I mean, that's why he went there. He wanted to play with Kyrie, and we've seen Kyrie play the second fiddle to LeBron in Cleveland, and I think he's a lot better at that than actually being the lead role guy. Brooklyn obviously playing a little bit better without Kyrie right now. He's kind of got that cloud following him from Boston from last year. But it's going to be so exciting to see them both on the court together. KD is just a killer. He's probably the best scorer in the league. Just hoping that he can come back from the Achilles injury, the same KD that we had before the injury.
Hopefully, man, I definitely hope so. But we had the chance to ask the fans at home who they are most looking forward to seeing. I think we've got the results in here. Stephen Curry, neither of you guys mentioned the chef.
The shot, boy.
You know, I think everyone's still in love with Steph Curry, more so now that he's not looking so superhuman. He was catching a lot of hate. But his fellow Splash brother, Klay Thompson, has not been getting a lot of love. He's only got 5% of the votes down there.
Where's the love, baby?
Where's the love for Klay, man? Klay is one of my favourite players. He's got a great personality, but I think one of the reasons why they haven't been missing him too much is because although he's not been on the court, he's been off the court trying his hand at being a broadcaster as he joined the commentary team for the Warriors last game against the Bulls. Check it out.
Sure, you're going to be a Hall of Famer at your day job, but everyone wants to be a broadcaster. What were they thinking? I don't know who this guy is.
Most importantly, congratulations, Mrs. Principessa. I love seeing those engagements here. It's always special. Good defense. What did I say? 2 stops, 2 scores.
Klay Thompson joined us in the second.
Take over. Well, take over, Kev. I'm back. Oh, my man, how you feel out there tonight, man? That two-way impact, that was something special.
It felt great, man, just to compete with my guys and just get after it and come up with a win.
The energy, you see that, though, Nation? This man brings it. That game above the rim, though, how to feel to throw down about 5 of them dunks. How many blocks? 4?
Well, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that was special, man. Keep doing it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm just competing.
How you going to keep this going, though?
Sure, for sure I'm trying to. I just want to play hard every night.
That's all we want. Back to you, Bobby.
I definitely think Klay Thompson is going to have a long career as a broadcaster when his playing days are over. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I know you would love to see Klay Thompson commentate a game. And I'm wishing Klay and all the other guys a swift recovery, and I'm sure they're wishing the best for their teammates, especially Zion, as his team matches up in this weekend's primetime matchup. It's that part of the show where we preview the matchups that are coming this weekend. We've got a very Christmassy theme going on. We saw the Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks have an absolutely fantastic game against the Lakers yesterday. That's going to be 7 p.m. on Saturday. They take on the New Orleans Pelicans, and the game will also be live on YouTube for you guys at home to watch for free. I want to know from you, Mike. I already know what Ovie's going to say about Luka Doncic, so I'm going to ask Mike, what are your predictions for the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Mavericks in Dallas this weekend?
Man, I got to jump on the bandwagon. That kid Luka is just insane. He's just going from strength to strength. His numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. November was a great month for him. I don't see the Pelicans taking it to them at home.
Ovie, before I move on, I know you've been waiting to talk about Luka all day, so tell me, how many points is he going to drop in this weekend's NBA Saturdays game?
30 ball. Gonna have about between 11 and 13 assists, maybe 11, 12, 13 assists. Rebounds, he'll have 8.
Okay, well, the action doesn't stop there. We've got the NBA Sundays matchup of the Denver Nuggets traveling to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. Who have you got winning that matchup?
Normally, I go for the Joker. You know, I'm a big fan. But Dinwiddie, man, and the Brooklyn Nets, I think, he's been balling out. I think that whole unit's playing very well, so, yeah, I'm going to go Nets.
What about yourself, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to go Nets, too. I think they're vibing right now. Kyrie's out. They're just Dinwiddie's stepping up. Going Nets.
The little dig at Kyrie.
I like Kyrie, though. I like Kyrie. I just wouldn't want to play on his team.
This, he's burning right now. But no, me personally, I see the Nuggets doing it. They've actually got one of the best defenses in the league right now, which is surprising because Jokic isn't known to be a great defender. So I'm excited to see what they can do, especially on the road. But we will see you guys back here next week for episode 5 of the Sky Sports Heat Check. We'll be back on our regular Tuesday slot. Obviously, this week was a little bit earlier, so thank you for joining us. But next week, we'll be back on Tuesday, live on YouTube at 5:45, and then later on across the Sky Sports channels. I want to thank both of you guys for joining me here today. It's been fantastic having you on. Once again, I want to thank you guys at home for watching. If you want to get involved with the show, tweet us with the hashtag Sky Sports Heat Check, and you never know, next week we might be answering some of your questions. Anyway, like I said, thanks for tuning in. Make sure we see you next week.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.